What's going on, people? It's Kiss Shorty Gaming Nation, and as the title says, hold on.
And when some
What's going on, folks? This is Kiss Shorty Gaming Nation in the building. Making this live today because, as the title says, as my title says, take charge. Traditional men don't allow players to question your leadership with women. Now, um, what I've noticed is that in our society today, right, what sparked this conversation is something that a conversation or discussion that went down on Izzy Band's channel between Uncle Jeff and the guys on the panel, right? And I'm gonna play it in a sec. Um, the problem in today's society is that you have guys who have engaged into 304 culture, hookup culture, and who are players, pimps, and max, correct? And what those guys like to do, who are in the player category, who are the pimp category, who are in the mac category, or the guys who engage in hookup culture or 304 culture, basically all the new age stuff going on, right? If there's a traditional guy on YouTube and he's saying he's complaining about the women in his house, or he's complaining about women in society in general, and he's complaining about the 304s, he's complaining about the woman's body count, and he's saying he doesn't want to wife up a hoe or 304. The players and the max and the pimps and the guys who are engaging in hookup culture, 304 culture, they'll shame the traditional men and say that that traditional man is insecure because he doesn't want to wife up a 304, or he wants to complain about the women in his house, in that traditional man's house, etc., etc., etc. My thing with the traditional guys, you have to remember this: traditionalism, traditional masculinity, and traditional manhood is what built America. It built up the house. It built up Western culture. It built up Eastern culture with Japanese and the Chinese. So traditional masculinity, principles and values, that is what built up America. It's what defined the social norms. Those social norms of the nuclear family, traditional family, is what built America up. It's what gave us the success we have today. So for traditional men, your brand of masculinity is proven not only in Western culture, but in Eastern Asian culture. With Asian culture, like say in India, Japan, China, European, Australia, et cetera, et cetera. So traditional values that traditional men stand for, that is what is proven, right? And as I said, the three P's of manhood: protect, procreate, and provide. That has been the standard of traditional masculinity that is practiced across all cultures. It's just that when it comes to Western culture, even Asian culture in the East, monogamy or traditional relationships is what's proven to give the best, most successful results. Because even if you want to go back to Africa, because a lot of the arguments is to say is that monogamy is not natural, even though monogamy is natural, and in Africa, black men didn't really practice monogamy; they mainly practice polygamy. Well, that wasn't in every culture or society. You know, that you could talk about that maybe in Western Africa, in Nigeria or Ghana, or those places, right? But even though, let's make it go with the argument that it's not natural, even though it may not be natural, a natural thing in nature, doesn't mean it's good. Because as you know, in polygamy, the men and the women tend to fight each other over the women tend to fight each other over sharing that man, or the men tend to fight each other over the women. So in nature, in more primitive savage societies, that maybe have been practiced. And man, uh looking within nature and seeing that there's certain issues or problems, man creating a solution that has given us the best results for the past, I want to say, 5,000 years, or since human beings have been here, or we have become more civilized, right? So traditional men do not allow the players on YouTube or guys who's engaging in hookup culture or 3 or 4 mongering culture to shame you or call you insecure about how you want to run your house and how you want to lead the women, right? Because even though you can say the game is not about the women, the game is not about yourself. I mean, the game is about yourself and the game is not about the women. I say bullshit to that. I say why I say it's bullshit because as a man, you could determine this when you get a woman pregnant, your sperm determines the sex of that baby. So when you plant that seed into that womb, depending on your chromosomes, you and that woman can produce either a male or a female, right? You then have to, as of your masculinity, you have to raise that child if it's a daughter or if it's a boy, especially if it's a female. You have to raise that child and be responsible for your wife and your children. That's why I innovated and said that the game is about the man first and everything else becomes secondary. Or the game is about the man first and then the women. Because leading women that you can potentially produce is unavoidable. You cannot avoid interacting with women. You cannot avoid being in a relationship with women. You cannot avoid women. They're part of the game just like you're part of the game. So, and as long as women are going to, by default, follow your leadership and by default be in your house benefiting from your masculinity, as a man, you have a right to complain about the things going on in your house. You have a right to check the women and hold them accountable, right? It's like on a job. There's an accountability culture on that job, and the leaders or the managers have to create that culture amongst their employees, right? Female bosses who are now in leadership are understanding that, right? So I want to go into something that Jeff Brown. There was a discussion between Jeff Brown and Izzy Bands. I want to go into that discussion. So shout out to Jeff Brown, shout out to Izzy Bands, shout out to the Angry Man. But they said something in here that sparked my brain. So let's go into it.
I said they made dressing like that popular. Chom is in here. When the alien is in the building, said, "Damn, the building. What's up?" Let me read these real quick. She said, take me off the screen. Take her thing off the screen. I did. I appreciate you, Carmen. Thank you, Uncle Jeff.
After 6 months, you're not. And when I see that shit, it's not that I'm gonna treat you mean. You
dictator, and I think
100%. I don't see your point. The Marine Corps.
I think that
upset that you.
I think Jeff Brown responded to something that Angry Man said.
City, man. That's what we do. You feel me? That's where Andre Ward from. You feel me? Like we
did you for last time, huh? I'm
gonna try not to eat the.
Let's get back to the video. Salute. Let's go. Listen.
And there's gonna be some of you that's gonna come in here and say, "But what about when a man cheats on his woman?" I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. Because guess what?
I want to hear the full context of what Angry Man was saying.
Ooh, I know you don't like to hear that. Ooh, I know you don't like to hear that, right? It's a double standard.
I can be I can be cocky in some things and humble in other things. So like what Uncle Jeff said, I might be cocky on my motorcycle.
I want to address what Uncle Jeff said.
You might well pop your junk. I deal with guys.
Let me ask y'all a quick question. So the question I have is, you have to, if you're the man,
manipulate you and put you under them or subject you to what their agenda is. And that's why, and that's a whole nother conversation. That's why I don't acknowledge anything Christians say nowadays, because it's like, you're not reading the book you profess to believe in. It says what it says. That being stated, if you look at yourself as the
Set
image
up
of
stuff.
God would, that would do things. You have to act out those. That's
Hey man, everybody good? Everybody hear me?
Sorry for Uncle
Uncle
Yeah,
Jeff.
yeah.
Jeff. What's up,
Right.
baby?
What
Give,
happened to Cat
Southside,
give,
Daddy? Tommy,
give,
what's going on,
Southside.
y'all?
All right, give me one quick
Royce.
second, y'all. Give me one quick second. Let me finish reading these. Hey, listen, if y'all want to make sure that your comments are highlighted in red, do so through the super chat or through the cash app. You can do so for $5 through the super chat, $5 through the cash app. It doesn't matter. Make sure you support the show, support the stream. All right, we working hard over here for you. All right. So the luxury bucket list said facts. I have been accused of not being humble, but I put in the work, so it is what it is. Shout out to you, luxury bucket list.
I think the conversation is that was they were having was that Uncle Jeff was talking about how being humble is used as a weapon to weaponize against black men. Like they used to do it to Mike Tyson a lot, and at the time Mike Tyson was unstoppable. So because my opinion, if you're knocking guys out like Mike Tyson, you have a right to be fucking arrogant. You have a right to be cocky. You have a right to be to you have a right to that, right? Um, because they used to do it to football players. Like, say the football player, he ran 60-yard line, he done jukes 10,000 niggas, he done bulldoze everybody off the field, and he got to that end zone. And now he's dancing and showboating in the end zone. They used to get these. He used to get a lot of black football players used to get in trouble for that. And I used to be like, why should he not celebrate his success? This man has been practicing that same move all year round in that damn football field, going through those drills. And the work he put in obviously works. Why can he not showboat in front of the camera? Why would they do that to black men and put a flag on the play for playing football and doing that? So I agree with Jeff Brown. I noticed that even though I agree with monogamy, and the reason why I agree with monogamy is because it's what gave us success, the success we had so far, right? Um, and I agree with that because that's the most structured thing to have a nuclear family. When it's polygamy now, and you're just the only reason why polygamy can be done today is because you have contraceptives, you have condoms, you have birth control, you have things in play where you can sleep with multiple women, not get them pregnant or catch a STD or STI, right? Back then, you sleep with multiple women and get a lot of them pregnant. If you didn't have the money and resources to take care of those children, it would be irresponsible to do that because now you're creating children or situations that if you don't have the resources to handle, like for example, during the Great Depression, there were a lot of folks selling off their children. One of the reasons why the welfare state got created was because they wanted to compensate the mothers when they had kids, because a lot of the children got abandoned by women, by those mothers and the men, and those children became child gangs. So it became a problem. So the welfare state was a way to incentivize the women to keep the children, right? So if you have a polygamous society or polygyny society where, um, because what's different in primitive times, you know what I'm saying? Primitive times, you had the jungle, you had the bush, you had et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now it was a savage time then. Now it's not savage, right? If you're sleeping with multiple women and you're getting them pregnant, you don't have contraceptives on them, nothing on them about you. They're just gonna give birth to those babies, and then nobody's gonna be able to take care of those babies. It's gonna be too many people, right? As opposed to monogamy, where you're having four children by one person, and you know who that person is. You know who those kids belong to. They're falling up under your last name, right? It's not all over the place. So I can agree to monogamy because I see the structure in it, and it's what has given us success. But I noticed today, right, in today's environment, um, monogamy is used as a weapon against black men. They're just pushing this. They're just pushing monogamy down black men. Like, if you look at LeBron James, if you look at that brother that was in basketball, I forgot his name. He used to date Nia Long or something like that, and he was messing around. I think he was caught cheating, or he was messing with the basically sleeping with a lot of women on the I think he's a basketball coach or something, and he's sleeping with multiple women, right? And if you hear it, it's like they're pushing black men to be more family orientated, to be more intentional. Stop being players. Stop being player this. Don't be a player. Meanwhile, the women, they're not pushing women to be a housewife. It's empowering women to be move like Lori Harvey and be sexually unchained. Meanwhile, they're pushing black men to be sexually trained through monogamy. You know, you got to pick one wife, man. You got to go towards relationship. Now, I agree with relationships. I agree with black men getting to the nuclear family. But my intentions behind that is not to weaponize it against black men or telling black men you should do this because, you know, you're bad or something's wrong with you for being a player or something's wrong with you for going out there and sleeping with many women. No, I don't think I don't think a black brother going out there saying he doesn't want to be married and him smashing multiple chicks. I don't think that's an issue. I also don't think it's an issue for the brothers who want to be monogamous and who want to find a nuclear family. I think both of those can exist in the environment because monogamy and traditional relationship is not meant for everybody, right? My problem is that what is the purpose of weaponizing monogamy against black men in this day and age where everybody is free to do what they want to do? Black women are able to walk away from being traditional. Black women, if you try to push traditionalism on them, you're toxic or you're sexist or whatever. But we could push that on black men. We could push a traditional nuclear family on black men. But I thought that's what we were going away from. I thought we was doing away with tradition. So why are you pushing monogamy or black men to be more family orientated when I thought we was running away from that? Well, here's the thing. In today's society, the type of relationship they want black men to get into is a relationship where he's a simp, where that woman is a matriarchal over him. So not pushing family or monogamy on black men where he's the patriarchy of that household or he's the head of that household. Because remember, in today's environment, we're doing away with those stuff. It's everybody is partnership, this partnership, that. It's equal, 50-50. Remember that. So why are they pushing that on black men? And why are they telling black men not to be players? Meanwhile, it's empowering for women to be a player or a woman to be out there giving her box out and cookies out. See what I'm saying? And then they're pushing black men to be monogamous with women that do not qualify for monogamy or qualify for a traditional relationship. That's my problem. So I agree with Izzy Bands and Jeff Brown with them saying using the word humble to weaponize it against black men or to have humility against black men. All right, especially if black men are able to compete in a fair thing and beat everybody else in that thing. That's like a Mike Tyson. That's like a Muhammad Ali. That's like maybe a Tank Davis for today or Floyd Mayweather. Right. So I wonder now that black men can participate fairly, absentee of those racists, of that extreme racism that took place, where now he can engage in those other two P's, protection and provision. He can play that traditional role now. He could thread. Black men have the ability, full power, to become those three P's of masculinity: protection, provide, and procreate. See, before, black men was only based towards his procreation value, which is ironically, procreation value is player. It has the same letter as player, right? Now, black men can showcase his value with the other two P's: provision, protection. And if you have all three P's, and you're the best nigga of the crop of all the men, guess what's gonna happen? All the women are gonna flock to you, and the women are gonna say, "Oh shit! Not only does black men have the procreation, he's now fully powered at protection and provision." And now, not only just black women, but white women, Asian women, all types of women are going to now be attracted to nigga, to black men. So now it would just be white men on the board. That's the force. It'd be black men up there too. And it's ironic that procreation, provision, protection has the same P's of patriarchy. Think of that, right? So let's go into it.
Hey, listen, I think that you deserve to be confident. I don't think that people should be conceited, and that's why I disagree with it. You deserve to be confident, and you deserve to have confidence in yourself, and a healthy sense of cockiness. I think is good too. It's nothing wrong with that. And you know what I'm saying, especially if you work hard and if you hold yourself to a standard, I think you deserve that, right? Hey, no cap 22 said, but be real. Who are we being saved from? And what are we being saved from? Well, I guess you're trying to get me to say you're being saved from yourself. But the answer is, if you go by that logic, you're really being saved from sin. And you know what I'm saying? You gotta be a willing participant in saving yourself from sin, right? There's some things you got to do. So there's that, right? But I don't want to get into that deep of a conversation, if y'all don't mind. Let's keep it a little more surface than that, because we don't all believe the same thing, and we got to make allowance for that. And like Uncle Jeff say, we could all be right at the same time. It's okay, all right? So yeah. Black Hawk say a humble person is not proud and think you're better than other people. Shout out to Black Hawk. Truth of Emotion said, big Uncle Jeff, breezy. What up, though? What up? What's up? All right. Go ahead, Uncle Jeff. What say you? I'm gonna mute you real quick.
Your backyard, Uncle Jeff.
Someone got.
You know where you at?
I'm in Anaheim right now, about to pick up
what up, man? Well, sort of. People don't know how big California
is.
Yeah. That's kind of far, but from the Bay, shit.
No, I slid through Pasadena. It was late last night though, but I had to go to IE. Yeah.
Look here. Okay, well, next time, bro. Next time. Holla, bro.
I get up with you one of these times. Yeah. I can't smoke. I'm driving the truck. I already got in trouble for that shit.
Don't hit him with no Varnell Jones, Uncle Jeff. Don't hit him with no Varnell Jones. Next time you're in my city, come holler at me, player. Come on. And then he be up singing, ooh yeah.
I don't know what that means, but I'm
Martin, you don't know the classic Martin Nick Paddywhack, give a dog a bone.
Yeah. Okay, my bad. Classic. Let me start by saying I have a reputation for being, and rightly so, an arrogant bastard. I'm arrogant, especially when it comes to comedy. If you don't have 3 jokes I wish I wrote, I ain't gonna treat you bad. I don't fuck with you. I think that it is possible to be better than other people. Yep. But it is not your birthright that makes you better. It is your choices. Brother Tommy gets out and drive that damn truck to take care of his responsibilities. To me, that makes him better than a man who does not. I don't have a problem. And maybe, we are all free to serve our gods as we wish. But I think that my particular brand of arrogance leads me to be more precious with the attributes that God has given me. I don't waste my life minutes. I was counseling a young Jedi a couple of days ago and another young Jedi this morning about who they are and how there are certain people, because of their behaviors, that put themselves beneath the brothers I was talking to.
Mm.
You're beneath me because of what you do. I judge you. We often get words confused. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Niggas love throwing that out when the truth is, when translated from the Aramaic, judge took the place of condemn.
Mm.
I can't condemn you to hell. I can't condemn you because of your social position, but I can certainly judge.
Mm.
Why
That
would I not? The root word of judgment is
that's a good that's a good that is a good way to look at it, Uncle Jeff. Because when we judging women, how a player will manipulate it and say, "Why are you being so judgmental?" They say you can't judge a chick for your past life. Nah, you can judge a chick for her past life, right? And you can't be judgmental for for her past life and how she is. It's not condemning that woman. It's just making a judgment, right? And if a man has, if the men are saying this is how we're going to operate, and the men are saying, well, look, um, we're only going to wife her three or fours, but for the hoes, all you're going to get is dick. You're not going to get a relationship, right? If that's what the men are saying, that's what the men are saying. But now, if a woman decides, you know what, I'm not going to listen to these dudes anyway, I'm going to go out here and be a hoe at 304. I'm going to go out here and do what I want to do. And now when that guy bucks up on you and he finds out you're a hoe, that woman cannot be upset with that man because, or those men of that society, because the men of that society said, look, this is how we're leading. Uh, if you're 304, we're going to treat you like a 304. You're not going to get married or a relationship. But oh, my bad. My fault. Okay, so but if you present yourself with how you look in your actions as a wife, you will get a relationship, right? And if the women break that rule or break that idea or break that rule, that's on the woman's fault. If she doesn't get a relationship, that's on the woman's fault because she knew what the rules of the house was. She knew how the men are operating, and she chose to be a hoe. So when she chose to be a hoe, she disqualified herself from the wifey's position. But what a player will do is he'll try the traditional guy. Well, if if you're in you and this is how they do it. They'll say this. I'm trying to remember what one of the things they say. They'll say you cannot be engaging with 304s and then complain about the 304s. Now, on the surface, that is actually correct. The question is that man engaging with the 304 by giving him a relationship? Or is he engaging with that 304 by giving her dick? And that's it. See, I would agree with that talking point is if the men were engaging with the 304s and putting them in a wifey position or putting them in a relationship position. I'd understand that wholeheartedly. But guess what? He's if the men are engaging with the 304s and keeping them in the 304 category, in that 304 category, then he has a right to complain about the hoes. Or how it should go is, what are the 304s doing for the men to be complaining about? What did the 304 do? Or yeah, so what did the 304 do for those men to complain about? Because that's a surface level argument. That's what women say. Women will say that, right? Women will say you cannot be complaining about the 304s if you're giving the 304 the big body count, right? That's what they say. And the play will use that line. Women will say that, and the play will use that. You cannot complain about the body count if the men are contributing to the body count or engaging with the 304s. The thing is, remember, the men said that if you present yourself as a 304, you're going to be treated as a 304. But if you present yourself as a wife, not only with just how you look, but within your actions, you'll become a wife. You'll get wifed up. That's you have to remember that. Remember, one talking point: the women and the players that want to manipulate men to tolerate to wife up the 304s or get into a relationship with 304s. They'll say, "Can I complain about the body count?" And you cannot complain about the 304s. 304s, if you're engaging with the 304s, so you're contributing to the body counts of the 304s. Versus the men saying, the traditional men saying, well, if you present yourself as a wife, right, or present yourself as a wife with how you look and your actions, you will become wife you up and get married to you and be monogamous with you. But if you're a 304 and you present yourself as a 304 in your actions, you're only going to get 304 actions. Because the woman with the big body count is the 304. The question is, why did the 304 lie about who she was? Who she was. See, if you're a traditional guy and the chick you were in a relationship with or the dating market is filled with body count, with filled with women with a lot of body counts, right? You have a right to complain about, say, wait a minute, why are there so many hoes? Because the pedestal that the men set for or the position that the men set is that if you present yourself as a lady, I should say, you would become married, you would get relationship, you would get monogamy and all the other stuff. If you present yourself as anything under a lady or a good woman, you're going to be treated as a 304. So the men who want to have a traditional relationship have a right to go to the dating market and say, and if he sees there's a whole bunch of 304s, he has a right to say, hold on, wait a minute. I don't want these 304s or chicks with a big body count. Remember, traditional men, this is their house. This is how they want to lead. This is how they all want to operate. This is the value in which they set for the women to follow. Right? A player or a 304 shouldn't be questioning that traditional man's leadership and telling that traditional man, well, you cannot be complaining about the body count if you're contributing to the body count. You cannot complain about the 304 if you're engaging with 304. Remember, traditional men set the rules of the house and said, a lady with less body counts up here, right, you'll become a wife. But if you're 304 out there, which says you have a big body count, you won't get wife treatment. You won't get into a relationship with me. So instead of everybody saying, but wait a minute, to you women, you wasn't listening to the man's leadership or you broke the rules. Right? So, but the thing is, and I've heard Angry Man say this too, right? He has said that those of you guys who are engaging in the 304 mongering, you cannot poison the market and then complain about the market that you poison, which I can agree with that too. A couple things can be true at the same time. It could be true that the men said that that the man can complain about the body count, but at the same time, you can't get mad at the market or big body count in the market for those of you men who poison the market. See, you men out there that poison the market, right? You can't get upset with how the market got tainted. But then you women, you can't complain either because you contributed to that tainted market. If all you women presented yourself as wives within your actions and how you presented yourself, there would be no 304s. There'll be no big body count, right? And if the men were not engaging by 304 mongering or whatever, right? Right, correct? There would be no 304s for y'all to complain about. See, if everybody was following that standard, especially the men, and the women were actually paying attention to that man's leadership instead of rebelling, this body count issue and these 304 and hookup culture issue would not be a problem for today, right? And women, you guys created the hookup culture because of feminism. You wanted to rebel against the patriarchy. Y'all wanted to be slut walking and 304 phasing and all this other stuff. That's on your fault because you opened the access to box and you gave the men access to your box. Now, something I said earlier, I said that um um I said that shit, I forgot what I said. I said something. I said that if you're one of those men that was engaging in hookup culture, you're in sex culture, and that's what you're into and you're doing, you cannot complain about the body count. But for those traditional guys that's actually dating intentional, and he's in the dating market, he can actually complain about the body count because he's not there with the intentions of hooking up or sex culture. He's there trying to find a relationship. He's there trying to find a marriage. And he's dating multiple women, but he's not sleeping with all of them, right? He can actually complain about why there's so many hoes and why there's so many chicks with big body counts, right? Um, but yeah, let's keep going into it.
Is judge. Or the root, yeah, it's to judge. So, I don't think that there's anything wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with arrogance if you use it to guard what you have. It is possible to have humility and be arrogant. I'm a bit, bruh.
But is it possible to be humble and to be arrogant? I don't think it's possible to be humble and to be arrogant. Humility is a state, right? You could be in the state of humbleness one place and have some humility, but that doesn't mean that you're humble. Because humble, guess what humble means? Let me show you what humble means, because a lot of people I don't think understand what humble means. And this is what I tried to show last time. This is a long time ago, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I looked up that definition a minute ago.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull it.
That's why I'm so much against it.
I'm gonna pull it.
Like, nah, nigga, if I earn some shit, I'm popping my piece on it. I'm not down playing.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Something like, if I'm a nigga in America and I beat you at this game with all the odds stacked against me, I'm motherfucking flexing, my dude. And until you come beat me or dethrone me, nigga, I'm a flex. And even if you do beat me, I'm coming right back for the throne. All right, let's go.
I'm gonna pull it up. Check it out.
I don't know too many humble Harley riders.
Right. So look, humble means having or showing a modest or low estimation or estimate of one's self-importance.
What?
One's own importance, of low social, administrative, or political rank. And that's why I said humble by definition, AM cannot be humble. There's no such thing. And that
No, I get it if you were of the lower rank, you didn't put no work in, you were a bum, etc., etc., etc. I understand that. I understand if you were a bum and you wasn't doing anything, you didn't prove yourself, you didn't do nothing, then okay, yeah, your ass need to be humble. But if you an accomplished nigga and you done some shit, nah, fuck that. Fuck being humble. If you like Mike Tyson and you conquered the game, you beat the game, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You have every right to flex your shit. I think what's happening is that they want alpha men who are alpha or showcase those alpha qualities to tone it to not do it to benefit women. I think that's why they're doing that, right? Because they don't say that to women. They don't say that to they don't say that to women. They don't say to women when she says she completes the UFC or something. They don't tell women to be humble. Say she was a UFC, she won a tournament or something or whatever, and or say she was at a job and she got a promotion to be the boss at that job, and she's what you call talking her shit. She's flexing. Ain't nobody gonna tell her to be humble. But every time it's a man, especially a black man, it's always be humble. Especially when we're playing a game where we're in America playing a game, playing capitalism, where it's unfair for black men. And when black men beat the unfairness, all of a sudden it's be humble. Nah, nigga, y'all stacked the cards against me. You threw everything at me for me to fail, and I still won. I still was able to get on your level, damn near surpassed you. No, 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 no.
That's what I couldn't understand why he was. That was a long time ago, by the way. But I just want to point out. I just hold on for the record. I just would like to point out for the record. When I'm right, I'm right. Because when he right, I say he's right. But when I'm right,
Always right. It's like when I'm right, I'm right. And when I'm wrong, I could have been right. So I'm still right because I could have been wrong.
And I'm sorry because I could be wrong now. I could be wrong right now, but I'm right.
but I'm right. So I just this is it. You know, go ahead, fam. Listen.
I think humble is a shackle
Yep.
that was put upon us as a people, especially in this land.
That's how. That's what I
your
view.
oppressor is beating you up with humble so that you don't recognize that in every area you are kicking his fucking ass. Every area. Pick an area where you are an area where you compete unmolested.
With
He has no chance.
Generational wealth. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So
you're not kicking his ass in that. You're not kicking his ass in that. Go ahead.
Okay. Because you haven't been allowed to compete fairly.
Fair.
Our Tulsas were burned down.
Fair point.
And that's what I look at monogamy today. Even though I can agree with it for my personal reasons and the benefits of it, I can see why people who still has those Jim Crow racist ideologies towards black men, I can see why those people want to use monogamy against black men. Especially in the time and space we're in. The time and space we're in, it's very, they try to flip it to a matriarchal. So you have to ask yourself, why would you push a monogamous situation and push black men for a more family orientated thing when you said that because you said that that's something that's toxic? Unless now the way you want black men to be in a monogamy is where that black woman is in control of that black man. He's being tamed, and that black man is not free to go out there and have sex with multiple women if that's what he wanted to do and live how that's how he wanted to live his life. Because now it's more interracial, it's more racially tolerant. You could be in more interracial relationships, and black men are marrying twice as much outside of their relationship, right? So you have to think about that.
I was gonna say, when given the equal time, we have whooped their ass.
Come on, bruh.
Fair point.
You can't name us. You can't name a category. Anyway, my point for saying that is that a lot of people use I like to say humility is often fear in disguise. A lot of cats talking about how humble they are, and you ain't humble, nigga. You just scared. You scared to be that big. So instead of being that big, Jeff Brown, been guilty of this myself, is I've taken on false humility. Humility to me is a tool. There's a time to use it. There's a time to use it. If I come into, let's just say, and I just like using it as an example because I made a deal with my wife that I can't have a motorcycle because she was in organ donation. She made me promise I could never have a motorcycle. But let's just say I said fuck it and bought a Harley. Bruh, if Tommy go, yo, I'm in town with my bike, man. I'm going to some spots. Can you meet me over here? Nigga, I ain't finna roll up, popping my collar with this Harley I just got. I'm in the presence of dudes that's been riding since they was 4.
Yeah, you get your ass hurt.
Bruh, you better put that shit up. Mess around and your bike will be on the back of somebody's truck and ain't shit you can do about it. So I have to use it where it goes. Humility is absolutely a tool. When you walk into a new situation, no matter how funky you are, no matter how dope you are, you're in a singing contest, they don't know who you are. You don't roll in talking about, nigga, I'm that nigga when it comes to the mic. No, just when you step to the mic, burn this sumbitch down. Now, when we get off and we start to discuss singing, songwriting, or blank, whatever your area is, after you have proven yourself, there's no reason for humility. It is what it is at that point. Once it's been shown to be what it is, I don't see a need for humility. I see a need for understanding and discernment. I'm not, because 100 times, bruh, it's very few. There are no comedy clubs in LA I can't just walk through the front door. None, not one. You know how many times I done seen the doorman treating a young comic like a wet food stand? I can't even count. And I go, yo, oh, hey, man, we worked that show. Come on. He with me. And then come in and go, hey, man, get in here. Don't start no fights. Do some networking in here. Oh, man, thank you. Because I could do it. That is using your humility as a tool. I'll land there because I'm saying too many I'm not saying enough monosyllabic words for Ignorant TV to keep up. So I'll land the plane there.
Yeah, shout out to hold on real quick. Shout out to Black Hawk. Thank you for hitting the cash out, my brother. I appreciate you. Y'all make sure y'all support the stream, support the show. You know what I mean? Dope discussions deserve dope donations. Support the show. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
It don't matter what the situation. I'm just trying to climb any obstacle a nigga facing. See it through in due time. It's a marathon, you gotta pace it. You can't press rewind, you get left behind. Just grind and the rest be fine. No matter what the situation.
I appreciate you. Roy Shay, what say you, good brother? And now I'll go back to the video.
I can't say nothing, man. Uncle Jeff came up here and he stole my thunder. So, which is
ate all the chicken.
Well,
right, exactly. Hey, speaking of which, Jeff, I think me and you have a common friend from Chicago that's out there in LA. I'll hit you in the back chat about it.
Yeah, hit me in the private chat. Who is it?
Yeah. I'll put him in the back chat because I don't want to just put his name out there if you don't know him. I think you pretty much landed the plane for both of us on that. You're coming out of comedy. I came out of boxing, and I came out of special ops in the military and
What branch?
Army.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
God
so
bless you. Thank you for your service.
thank you. But that was yeah.
Tommy running the
Tommy
copy.
B, your joint sound crazy
Like
right
you
now.
running a copy machine in there.
Yeah, like whoa. Go ahead, Roy.
No,
but,
I had my headset back on. My bad.
that was a thing with us. Once you proved yourself, you could pop certain, you could pop your shit in a certain way, but that was the thing. You had to prove yourself, be it in training, be it in the combat field, be it on missions or something. You had to prove yourself. That same thing with boxing. You basically once you prove yourself in your sparring sessions, you prove yourself, on fight night, and stuff like that. You can talk your shit then. If you haven't done that work, then it's like you're going to be made to pay a price. And in both of those areas, it's not just it's not just you're going to get shunned or anything. You're going to be made to pay a physical price if you the type of person that sit up and you talk your talk, but you can't back up the talk. And understand this, you will have people that are going to they're going to test you, or you're going to have people who are going to impose their will on you, whether you pop your junk or not. So you might as well do it. You might as well be that. If you feel like you that guy, if you've done the work, you might as well talk your shit, because guess what? You're going to have people coming at you one way or another anyway. So you might as well, if you've done what you're supposed to do, if you know you got that skill set, then you might as well pop your junk. I deal with guys.
Let me ask y'all a quick question. So the question I have is, do you have to, if you're the man, if you're confident and you're the man, do you have to pop your junk in order? I mean, do you have to pop off or pop your junk?
I think I have an analogy that works perfect and answers both. One answers that, and two co-signs what Brother Royce was saying. We've all seen Creed 1, right?
Yes.
You remember the scene where shout out to one of my favorite boxers, Andre Ward, where Apollo is talking that shit, and is like, who next? Who next? And he go, me, I'm next. And then he said, I don't need no headgear. I don't need no headgear. And come in there and clean Apollo's clock.
You mean Adonis?
Adonis, excuse me. Yeah, thank you. Adonis's clock.
Yeah.
You are looking on parade. That is confidence, arrogance, and conceit on parade.
That was James Toney in real life.
Yeah, that's Adonis was showing his confidence by wanting to get in the ring. When he knocked the first dude out and started talking that shit, that's when arrogance overrode over into conceit. When Andre Ward goes, I don't need no headgear. Brother, that's arrogant. That's arrogant in your face because you deserve it. But I'm finna back it up in here and put you to sleep and give you some free dental work and take your car. It absolutely on parade. And yeah, Teddy, he had to tuck his head, he had to tuck his tail, he had to tuck his rag and put that helmet, that headgear on.
Yeah. Hey, TB said, pop your junk is crazy. LOL. Shout out to TB. Blackhawk said, if y'all believe God humbles people, tell me why. Do y'all believe that God humbles people? Start with you, my man Tommy B. Do you believe that God humbles people? And if so, why? If not, why not?
I think everything humbles people. I think a fucking motorcycle will humble the shit out of you. Going off of what Uncle Jeff said, I think being a boxer, a better boxer will humble you. It's always somebody bigger, better, or greater that can humble you. Uh, Again, I think like I think because we've been ingrained with this way of thinking of humble so much that the way that we're talking is kind of taboo, and it naturally rubs people the wrong way because it makes you think that you think you're greater than or this that and the other. I can be you know
That's true. Let's talk about what was said by Jeff Brown and the brother. You know, every time when a nigga is shining and he's successful, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and he's shining, niggas always want to throw, God is gonna humble you. How do you know that God didn't put me in this position? Like, how do you know that God didn't want me to? How you know that if God wants me to flex? Because God could not want me to be humble at this moment. What if God put me in this position to show this shit off? Right? So what a lot of cats would do is they'll say, or a lot of Christians would do if they hating, God is gonna humble you. You just see what I'm saying? 1 second. Okay. Right. So I noticed that that people like to use God and stuff that God against you when um you're doing better than them or God put you in a position to win and you're now flexing. It's always God is gonna humble you. You don't know if God put me in that position because God could have put me in that position right there. You know what I'm saying? So maybe God wanted me to win and then flex my winnings on you. You know what I'm saying? Show it off on you. But that's something interesting said by Jeff Brown. That was by Jeff Brown. Like, especially when he said that, sometimes people you hide behind being humble because they're scared, they're being cowards. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, they're using or some people use a humble not to use humbleism not to show because they don't want people to know they don't want to know their they don't want people to know their abilities or what they can do. So some people will say, "Oh, I'm being humble," to kind of hide themselves, like they don't want to be noticed. You know what I'm saying? I know for me, if I know I'm being successful at something, I'm not being humble. Right? I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna let you know how much of a badass nigga I am. Right? Hold on, my fault. I'm gonna let you know I'm a badass nigga. I'm gonna let you know I'm better than you until you can prove that you're better than me. I'm better than you, and I'm gonna keep reminding you about that. See what I'm saying? So, but let's go. Let's observe something that Jeff Brown said.
I can be cocky and something.
Another anyway. So
Check it
I
out.
don't know too many humble Harley riders.
Right. So look, humble means having a or showing a modest or
Front door. None, not one. You know how many times I done seen the doorman treating a young comic like a wet food stand? I can't even count. And I go, yo, what's go? Oh, hey man, we worked that show. Come on, he with me. And then come in and go, hey man, get in here. Don't start no fights. Do some networking in here. Oh man, thank you. Because I could do it. That is using your humility as a tool. And I'll land there because I'm saying too many I'm not saying enough monosyllabic words for Ignorant TV to keep up. So I'll land the plane there.
Yeah, shout out to
Nah,
hold on real
you
quick. Shout
spit.
out to Black Hawk. Thank you for hitting the cash out, my brother. I appreciate you. Y'all make sure y'all support the stream, support the show. You know what I mean? Dope discussions deserve dope donations. Support the
Let's
show.
see,
Thank
that's
you.
what he said. I could get that. Like if I'm somebody just entering the game, and I haven't proven myself, right? I'm gonna respect and be humble to people. Like when I was doing martial arts, right? Because I didn't know certain things, I was not in a position to flex on my sensei to show off on my sensei. Plus, one of the rules is that you never outshine the master. But my sensei was teaching me something, so I had no right to sit up there and show off. Now, if I become good at what he's taught me, and I become the best at what he's taught me, I think even in that moment, right? I think even in that, with that, right? I'm still going to show humility to my sensei because he gave me the game, and I took the game and I took what he taught me. And if it wasn't for him, I would have never known what I know. But at the same time, I'm still going to show humility to my sensei because he's the one that gave me the game or put me in the position to win, right? So I could get having humility for my sensei. You know what I'm saying? Because my sensei, he taught me the game. He gave me the game. He taught me certain things. Um, right. So he's your sensei. You're going into the dojo. You have to respect him. You have to respect the sensei. You have to respect that dojo, right? Because you're going there to learn something from him. And if you're going there to learn something from him, that means you don't know anything yet, right? So I get showing humility in situations like that, where you show respect to your dojo, you show respect to your classmates, you show respect to even to when you're sparring somebody, right? Um, you can show off a little bit there. You can show off a little bit in sparring. Especially if you caught the person you're sparring against. You know what I'm saying? You caught him with that one move you was training with, and you caught him that one time. You can show off there. You know what I'm saying? But in general, if you're being taught something, you have to be humble enough to learn what's being taught to you. So I get in the instance when you're learning something from somebody who doesn't have to take their time out, or like Jeff, didn't have to allow you into the club. Jeff doesn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Jeff could have said fuck you and showed off on a nigga, but he didn't do that. See what I'm saying? So I could get what Jeff is saying in that part right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, me showing humility and to this person and allowing him to go into this club and network and advertise himself. You know what I'm saying? No, Jeff don't have to be humble in that situation or show any humility in that situation. Jeff could have been like, "Fuck you, nigga, I ain't let you in here." And you know why Jeff can do that? Is because Jeff is a proven comic. Jeff can actually be an asshole if you want it because he is a proven comic. See what I'm saying? So he can actually do that if that's what he wanted to do. See what I'm saying? Um, give me 1 second. Right, right. So even that now, right? And even if for that comic that Jeff was talking about, right? The comic that Jeff was talking about, hold on. The comic that Jeff was talking about, that comic could have been humility enough, could have been could in that moment show humility in that moment, and then when he gets better and he showcases that he's the funniest nigga, he can flex too, right? He can flex his skills too, and he can show off on Jeff if he wanted. But the only way he'll be able to do that on Jeff is if he proves that he's a what? Proven person. So it goes back to what Jeff is saying. You know, if you have proven if you have proven your abilities as either a comic or you've proven your abilities as a you're proving your abilities in that arena, you can show off a bit. Or you could be humble enough to put somebody else on when they're in need. See what I'm saying? So let's continue.
Matter what the situation, I'm just trying to climb any obstacle a nigga facing. See it through in due time. It's a marathon, you gotta pace it. You can't press rewind, you get left behind. Just grind and the rest be fine, 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 fine. No matter what the situation.
I appreciate you. Roy Shay, what say you, good brother? Now I'll go back to the video.
I can't say nothing, man. Uncle Jeff came up here and he stole my thunder. So, which is
Ate all the chicken.
Well,
right, exactly. Hey, speaking of which, Jeff, I think me and you have a common friend from Chicago that's out there in LA. I'll hit you in the back chat about it.
Yeah, hit me in the private chat. Who is it? Yeah.
I'll put him in the back chat because I don't want to just put his name out there. You don't know him, I think you pretty much landed the plane for both of us on that. You're coming out of comedy. I came out of boxing and I came out of special ops in the military.
Shout out to that brother.
Army.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
God bless you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Boy, that was
Tommy running the copy.
Tommy B, your joint sound crazy.
Like
right
you
now.
running the copy machine in there.
Yeah, like whoa. Go ahead, Roy Shay.
no, I had to put my headset back on. My bad.
That was a thing with us. Once you proved yourself, you could pop certain, you could pop your shit in a certain way, but that was the thing. You had to prove yourself, be it in training, be it in the combat field, be it on missions or something. You had to prove yourself. That same thing with boxing. You basically once you prove yourself in your sparring sessions, you prove yourself, on fight night, and stuff like that. You can talk your shit then. If you haven't done that work, it's like you're going to be made to pay a price.
Yeah.
And in both of those areas, it's not just it's not just you're going to get shunned or anything. You're going to be made to pay a physical price if you the type of person that sit up and you talk your talk, but you can't back up the talk. And understand this, you will have people that are going to they're going to test you, or you're going to have people who are going to impose their will on you, whether you pop your junk or not. So you might as well do it. You might as well be that. If you feel like you that guy,
I'd rather pop off.
You've done the work. You might as well talk your shit.
And
because
lose.
Guess what? You're going to have people coming at you one way or another anyway. So you might as well, if you've done what you're supposed to do, if you know you got that skill set, then you might as well you might well pop your junk. I deal with guys.
Let me ask y'all a quick question. So the question I have is, do you have to, if you're the man, if you're confident and you're the man, do you have to pop your junk in order? I mean, do you have to pop off or pop your junk?
I think I have an analogy that works perfect and answers both. One answers that, and two co-signs what Brother Royce was saying. We've all seen Creed 1, right?
Yes.
You remember the scene where shout out to one of my favorite boxers, Andre Ward, where Apollo is talking that shit and is like, who next? Who next?
Mm-hmm.
And he go, me, I'm next.
All right, so.
And then he said, I don't need no headgear.
I'm gonna go to where Anger Man is.
I don't need no head.
Effort to say, I'm not humble in what I.
But that ain't right. Yeah, you know what?
Effort to say, I'm not humble in what I've earned to not be, in what I've worked for. Meaning, if I put in the work, then no, I'm not gonna be humble about it because I know I put in the work to back up, what I'm popping. So to answer your earlier question, you don't have to pop your P's, but you also don't have to not pop your P's. You feel me? Like it's not a. I think we had this thing where if you earn it, you should, talk that way, or you shouldn't. And I just, it's like he said with Andre Ward, like that. I come from a city, man. That's what we do. You feel me? That's where Andre Ward from. You feel me? Like we do what we do, and we gonna let you know about it. You feel me? And if you can humble us, you can humble us. But until you do, we gonna pop our shit. You feel me? And that's just what it is.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Let's get back to the video. Salute. Let's go. Listen.
And there's gonna be some of you that's gonna come in here and say, "Well, what about when a man cheats on his woman?" I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. Because guess what? It ain't the same. Ooh. I know you don't like to hear that. Ooh. I know you don't like to hear that, right? It's a double standard. It's a double standard. It's a double standard. It's a double standard. Now, the funny thing is there'll be women that'll be like, but that ain't right. Yeah, you know what else ain't right? You being able to kick a dude in his nuts and not go to jail. That ain't right either.
Oh Lord.
That ain't right either. Look, homegirl grabbing Michael Rainey Jr. by his Johnson and not getting charged with anything. That ain't right either.
Facts.
Because I'm going to tell you what I'm sick of in this society. I'm sick of everybody acknowledging and respecting the double standards that let women get away with shit, but we condemning the double standard that lets men get away with shit.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think about that?
Men don't cheat, we engage in conquest. Facts.
Yo, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about the double standard? Like we identify that we all have double standard.
Let's look at that double standard, right? See, let's look at that double standard. What I think about the double standard, right, is that and I've always had that issue in society, right? Is that women like to complain about Men being able to cheat, or men sleeping with multiple women, or and not looked at as whores, or you know, uh, women, or how come men can do what they want to do? They can sleep with as many women they want to sleep with, but the women can't do that. Or if the woman is, if the woman is gonna, if a woman engages in the same thing, she's gonna look at as a whore. All right. But the thing is, uh, women get to punch men in the face, and the man has to do nothing but walk away. Right. Uh, what's another double standard that women have in society? Um, Women get to curse at you, slap you in your face. Um, if they're in your house, they uh they get to be annoying, right? Um, Women can be what? Let me see. Let me think about some double standards. Shit, right? Women are able to be flexible with their identity, but men, we have to be rigid with our identity, right? Um, Women get to, right? Women get to be careless. Men have to be on point. Women get to be. Women don't have to grow up and be an adult. A man has to be grow up and be an adult, right? Um, Again, woman could punch a guy on the bus on the face and he can't hit her back. All he has to do is walk away. Um, so there are a lot of double standards that women benefit from. Let me look this up real quick. Let's see. Because I'm really not thinking about a lot of these things in society. I see them, all right, but I don't really pay attention to them. And they benefit women, all right? Oh, this is a good one. Double standards and double binds how gender stereotypes hurt our relationships, right? First, they're too general. When I'm working with a couple, we're talking about specifics of the relationship, how men are or women are. Doesn't matter as much as who these individuals are. Maybe most men and women really are like the stereotypes say, or maybe they're not at all. All right. Second, they often hold on, let me see. Explore gender bias, gender-based double standards and double binds. Let's see. Women who want to snuggle are affectionate, men who want to snuggle are needy. Married woman without a job is a homemaker. A married man without a job is a failure. That's a good one. A man who speaks his opinion is strong and passionate. Opinion is bitchy and shrill. Well, let's see. Let's dissect into that. A man who speaks his opinion and is strong and passionate, right? Because of our dominant roles, we're supposed to be cussing and loud and aggressive like a lion or a bear or a gorilla. And ladies not supposed to be like that. So if a woman who speaks or her opinions How are you doing that to yourself? Are you remaining like a lady and expressing your opinion, or are you expressing your opinions like a man? Are you cursing? Are you wrong? Are you lying? Or are you keeping it respectful? All right. A woman who raises kids is natural. A man who raises kids can't find something meaningful to do. Really? A man who likes sex are mighty and powerful. Women who like sex are sluts and whores. A woman who cries in what context? Right? What context? Let's dissect that double standard. Right? Women who like sex are sluts and hoe. Is that in the context of you're not in a relationship or a marriage, or is that in the context if you're in a marriage or relationship? Because if you're out here being one of those workers, extracurricular workers, and you're using your sexuality in that way, yes. Remind you, a whore is somebody that's giving her box to everybody. Same thing goes for a slut, right? But if you like sex in the context of a monogamous relationship, I don't even think the Bible shuns you for that, right? A woman who cries is in touch with her feelings. A man who cries is weak. That's a good doubt. Look at that. Listen to that. Woman who cries is in touch with her feelings. Now, mind you, when a woman cries, it's a healing process for her. It's in touch with her feelings. When a man cries, it's looked at as weak, right? Other men would say you're weak if you're a man and you cry. But we know when a man cry when we cry in general, right? Crying in general kind of helps you heal and release a lot of those pent up emotions. I think for men, crying in public is weak. I think because of the job that a man is supposed to look strong and fierce for protection of our side and for family, we shouldn't be crying in the public eye in front of people, right? We could go to a private place, space, and cry and get all that out of our system, right? A woman who's angry is irrational. A man who gets angry knows and gets what he wants. Well, let's look at it because women are very more emotional, right? When they get angry, they're not using logic because you guys are more emotional. When a man get angry because he's dealing with logic and reality every day, it's more of a logical anger than an emotional anger. So that's why that double standard is there, right? Okay, let's look at some the double bonds. Tell me how you feel. Be a man, don't be a sissy. Be my protector and provider. I need you to be stronger for me. And why won't you show emotion? You never said what's bothering you. Ha! So yeah, look at that. Just tell me how you feel. Don't be so emotional. Just say what you want. Don't be so demanding. So if a woman tells a man to give her instructions, it's don't be so demanding. He wants you to tell you how you feel. Don't be so emotional. See what I'm saying? So those are some good double standards right there. Let's go back to Israel Mills on the argument. Mm. Uh-huh. Yeah, what it is. Let me speak to that. I think that's what black men need to get. How black men need to fucking get. Fuck how women feel about it, because how women feel about it is not based in reality. You know what I'm saying? And let me use an example. The reality of it is, a man has to be dominant. A man has to be stoic. A man has to be uh, aggressive. A man has to be those things. For as toxic as women want to claim that is, a man has to be those things. Why is that? Because if your men are not dominant enough, strong enough, aggressive enough, an enemy could come in and kick over that society. That's just what it is. It's what it is, right? The reason why men don't wife up hoes is because you cannot change a hoe into a housewife. You Men can set the standard and say, if you're a lady, you're gonna get the wifey treatment. But if you're a 304, you're gonna be a 304. The reality of the game is that when you look into the environment, there are women that are 304s and there are women that are ladies. And when I say that, I mean that's just who they are. No matter how many times you try to make a hoe a lady, she gonna go back to being a hoe. Right? And that's just what it is. The women can be upset with that all they want, but that's just what it is. Women can be upset with, yo, if women like sex, they're sluts and hoes. But if men they like sex, it's they're liked and they're a value for that. Well, guess what? One of the things that a man's responsibility is to procreate. One of the P's, the three P's of manhood: provide, protect, and procreate. And a man is validated based upon his performance in sex. Women, you do that. If a man is weak in the bedroom, you're gonna say he weak in the bedroom, right? That's what you're gonna say. Hold on. So women, you judge men based upon their sexual potency, right? And I think the reason why that for a man, which I can see, I can honestly look at that objectively and see the logical fallacy into that, right? That if women like sex, it's deemed as they're sluts and whores, but if a man likes sex, it's not deemed that way, right? I think for men, right, if it's, I think for men, because we're just planting the seeds, there's really not that much affecting us when we plant the seeds. Even though it takes us a 70 days for that sperm to grow back, and there's a lot of nutrients being lost when we do so, I think for women, because she has to spend 9 months, right? When she gets pregnant, it's bad for her to tap into her tap into that sexuality, right? I think for men, because we have to be responsible. We're more held to being responsible with our sexuality, and the performance of sex, of how the sexual interaction goes, is heavier on the man than it is on the woman. So I think for men, I think that's why the double standard is there for men, and I think that's why it's shunned if women have sex or like to have sex. Because I think if women like to have sex now, they're gonna go overboard with it now, right? And then now, if you're pushing the men to have sex, right, and you have the women with the box open, wide open, have to just giving out their box to everyone to open. I don't think the men are gonna get married or create that nuclear family, because you see that situation right now where the women are no longer shamed for that, where the women are no longer ashamed for that. So now they're hooking up and going to hookup culture. So there's really nothing giving the men a reason to say, okay, now I'm gonna just have sex with one chick, pursue pursue this one chick, or pursue this one chick, and then be in a monogamous situation with her. Why would I do that if you have 10, 50 to other chicks that also like sex, and it's not gonna make me difficult to get the box? See what I'm saying? So I think for the reason why that double standard is, if the woman likes to have sex, she's called a slut or a whore. But if a man likes sex, it's nothing. There's no he's praised for that. Um, it probably has something to do with a woman's sexual lust or hunger. I think if woman's sexual lust or hunger gets uncontrollable, it's something bad. As opposed to men, when we ejaculate sperm, we have to go to rest. Even if that foliage effect happens and another chick enters the room and he want to smash again, I think it's a heavier effect on the man. Because remember, every time a man ejaculates, he's losing a lot of nutrients, a lot of energy comes from his brain and stuff. So for men, there is a stop point for men. I don't think there is that for women. I think if women lean too much heavy into their sexuality, I think they're gonna go overboard. Whereas for men, there is a stop point for us. There's actually a ceiling for us. A man can have sex. If a man has sex, right, and he gets that, say he can smash 10 women for his lifetime and be cool. As for a woman, if she can smash all the way up into her 50s, you know what I'm saying, and rack up 1,000 bodies up to her 50s and keep going. So I think maybe that's why that double standard is there. Now I can see the logical issue with that standard, because now if you want men to like sex, right? But you don't. If you look at women and say she don't, if she likes sex, she'd be looked at as a slut or 3 or 4. Now, when it comes to being in a marriage or relationship, she's not going to express that energy to that guy because she's going to be viewed as that way. So maybe it should have been set where um once you get into a relationship or a marriage with a man, express that sexuality, right? But if you're not in a relationship with a man and you're expressing that sexuality, then you'll be considered a 3 or 4. I think that's what should have been how it should have been said, right? Because for women, it's like, and I can see it where they're coming from. It's like if they showcase that sexuality, she gets a 3. She looked at as a 3 or 4, and might not even be a 3 or 4 like that. She could be actually looking for a monogamous situation. She's just hypersexual, but she just saying, "I want to be hypersexual with my husband." See what I'm saying? So I think that double standard should stay there, but I think we should revamp it. You know what I'm saying? Revamp it in a way, or rephrase it, revamp it, restructure it. Right. So I think for women, right, when women are tapped into their sexuality way too extreme, they lose their mind. Like, have you seen a chick that's sexually addictive? A chick, because she's sexually attractive to a barbarian or some kind of evil person or some kind of like, you have porn, or my bad, you have porn on the internet where it's bestiality, and you see a female messing with a dog or a horse, or you'll see women swim across a river or a whole lake or put herself in harm's way to go meet the dude she's sexually attracted to. Or or for women, when they're tapped into their sexuality to an extreme, they'll put themselves in a dangerous situation. That's why if you look at the sex industry, there's a lot of sex toys, sex machines. All these things are created. Why do you think they're creating a lot of these toys for women? And one of the main complaints for women is that they're not able to orgasm. You see what I'm saying? So if women who are the weaker sex are putting themselves in dangerous positions where their sexuality is rampant, especially if they get pregnant now and it takes them 9 months to get pregnant, right? Imagine them having sex while they're getting pregnant. Give me 1 second. My doorbell rang. Give me a moment. All right, let's go to it, right? So now the only reason why women can express their sexuality now is because we're not in a savage society. We're in a safer place. But just imagine if women was like that during medieval times. You know what I'm saying? What if they were like that? Because a lot of women's sexuality is ruled by their emotions. So sex and a woman's emotions will lead them to doing stupid stuff in order to get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like if you look at cats, right? Look at cats. A female cat should get pregnant with 9 babies, 9 kittens. Kittens grow up, they'll get older, they go be on their own, and guess what she's able to do? Go through that process again within that same year. So imagine if women were doing that, right? The only reason why women are able to now explore their sexuality is because society is a safer place for them to do that. Let's say if it was back in the days of Genghis Khan. There was nothing but savagery going on. What would you think happened? You know what I'm saying? And I think what Jeff said that our double standards are earned because even in the African village, right? One of the three pieces of masculinity, a man is not valued until he's gone out there and proved himself to be a protector and a provider. Meaning, an African young boy, he had to go out into the wilderness and fight a lion, go hunt a gazelle and bring that back. Right? I mean, so men had to prove to earn their double standards. Women, right? You can't have women going out there willy with their sexuality because A, they're gonna be producing babies like crazy. B, like I mentioned earlier, you have bestiality going on around the world in America. C, women can be sexually attracted to anything. You know how I like to say a man will smash anything? Women will smash anything that she gives access to smash her, that she allows to smash her. You see what I'm saying? Because her box and her feelings and emotions are tied into that, the wrong dude could get her sexually attracted and she'll follow that dude into hell and death. So that's why I think those double standards was there to protect women. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. It's already happening, Jeff. Uh-huh. And the men were not saying this. We're saying if you put on this, if you're this lady, we're going to reward you for monogamy, all that other stuff. It was not like going the men were going to make you a lady and not reward you for that. They were. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Now, here's my point, right? You'll have players and max in these spaces that because they're engaged in the hookup culture, like they want to engage in that lifestyle, they'll break those rules and say that the women should be having sex because they want to have sex with those women. So because they want to have sex with women and they want to keep the box open, they want to break those double standards. So they'll shame other dudes who are traditional, like Uncle Jeff, who put those men of the past who put those double standards in place, and they'll challenge that traditionalism. Not because they don't disagree with it, but because they themselves are out for themselves. They want the women to keep their box open so they keep fucking. Right? That's my point. Traditional men said it that way. Traditional men said that if you're a lady, you get lady treatment. If you're a 3 or 4, we're gonna treat you like a 3 or 4. The player's gonna now come through, and because he loves engaging with 3 or 4s, he's gonna break those codes and do in the man's house. He'll break those codes and encourage the women to break those codes, and then shame the traditional man for how you want to operate in his house. That's not cool, right? Instead of that player saying, "Well, we love hoes and we like to wife up hoes, but we're not forcing other dudes to wife up hoes." No, but guess what those players do? They'll shame other dudes, or they use female manipulation tactics, like say you're insecure because you don't want to deal with hoes. They'll tell you that you can't complain about the body count and you can't complain about the 3 or 4s if you're engaging in 3 or 4s. The thing is, our leadership. That's the thing is, that's how traditional masculinity set it up. Traditional masculinity told the woman, "Hey, listen, if you're a 3 or 4, all you're gonna get is dick. If you're a wifey or you're a lady, you're gonna be a wife, right?" The thing is, there were men that broke that rule and wiped up some 3 or 4s. There were men that picked 3 or 4s but didn't know she was a 3 or 4, right? So the thing with that is that if the woman who presented herself as a lady but she was really a 3 or 4, she knew the rules but broke the rules anyway. She knew that if she was moving like a 3 or 4, she wasn't going to get married. So she lied to that man and pretended to be a wife. Now, if you're going back into the 1950s, you didn't have social media like you had today. Right? If you was a hoe at the local bar in your small town, everybody knew. But if you was a hoe in New Jersey, you can wash away your wholeness by moving to New York and nobody would know. And I'm talking about back in the 50s, or even back into the 80s and 90s. Because remember, social media wasn't up popping like that. There was no social media. There was no piece computer. The only way you knew if that chick was a hoe if you brought your girl back to Jersey to her hood, right? But the player, because he wants to engage in the debauchery into 3 or 4 and fucking 3 or 4s, he wants to train the traditional men or condition the traditional men into um into wifing up 3 or 4s or molding 3 or 4s into housewives. Now, here's why I disagree with that. If you're a traditional guy, you should not be rewarding a hoe with the housewife treatment. You should be rewarding the lady with the housewife treatment. If you're a traditional guy and you're rewarding the hoe, you're teaching or you're molding the environment that hoes can be housewives too. Now, the only person that can do that would be a player. A player could turn a hoe into a housewife. And there's game for that. And you see the players on the internet giving that type of game to the dudes. Now, the reason why a lot of dudes are falling for that now into this day and age, because a lot of them don't have any fathers. They never had a father in their life that they were growing up with. A lot of men coming out of single mother households. So they never had a man to teach them right from the beginning. So you have a lot of men on YouTube teaching them to play a game. Now, I have no issue with the men being players. I have no issue with black men doing what you want to do. My thing is, don't shame other niggas who don't want to have a chick, who don't want to have a 3 or 4 for a housewife, right? That's like y'all don't want us to call you insecure for not wanting monogamy. Because I could say you're insecure because you're afraid of monogamy. You're not confident in yourself that you could be in a monogamous situation. I could call you insecure, just like you call me insecure for not wanting to help. Or I could respect you, players, as a man, and saying, okay, cool. I respect your decision that you don't want to be this, that this is not that monogamy ain't for you. I could respect you, right? But don't be in a house built by traditional men that you benefit from that, and shame those niggas for wanting to be traditional and wanting traditional women. Let's continue. Yep. Right. If a woman comes up to me and say, uh, you're hypocritical because you can engage into it, but we can't, I'm gonna look you dead in your face and say, oh well, that's what the fuck it is. If you don't like it, tough shit. But guess what happens? You got black men that will challenge other black men. You have black men that if I say that, other black men are gonna say you ain't standing on business, brother. No, brother, you can't be doing that. Instead of forming a brotherhood and saying, or the black man forming a brotherhood and saying, look at it, if like this is how I respect more a player, a non-monogamous guy better, right? If he said, well, look here, baby, if that's how that man runs his house, that's how he runs his house. And he should respect that man and how he wants to run his house. Right? But that's not what them dudes do. They'll tell those women that that man is insecure, and then that woman will repeat that shit to the man. See what I'm saying? That's why I say there's no black brotherhood in the black community. And why I say that is because black men will shame each other for how we want to run our house. We use female manipulation tactics to benefit the women. You have players that will shame men, wife them up 3 or 4s to benefit the women. So I agree. Yep. Yep. Like a man. Facts. Exactly. Oh, listen, women, you don't like you don't like the double standard that men are praised for their procreation ability, but you're not. Guess what? If I step to you, approach you on the street, and you reject me, you could cuss me out, and I have the only option I have is to walk away. Right? So you get the power to consent if I get your box or not. That's a double standard, right? I have to respect your consent whether you give me sex or not. So that's why men are praised for their sex ability because whether I get sex or not, I have to be a viable dude to that woman for her to give me a box. She has to find me sexually valuable for me to give her a box. And you have the power to reject my offer. So, uh huh, uh huh, exactly. Give me a second. No, I'll be right back. can agree to that. I mean, you lied to that person. You promised one thing and then you did something else. I agree to that. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 You know what I'm saying? And to traditional men, that is the burden. Right? A burden of a leader is that you're gonna say something and you're gonna stand on certain stances, and your woman is not gonna agree with it. The problem is that when you have guys in the society that are more subjectivity, which is what a player is, that are more subjective, and if they're into non-monogamy and open relationship, they're gonna agree to that. because that type of chick fits into their program. See what I'm saying? And then now what's going to happen is that you have men molding the environment into a different direction and causing issues in a traditional man's house. You know what I'm saying? And then taking the market and then getting up, then shaming, then trying to get other men to follow them. So traditional men, like, fight back. Don't let don't let a player who's not being traditional dictate to you how your traditional masculinity is supposed to move. Right? Because those men are not operating from the brotherhood. Those men are operating from a selfish standpoint. They're being subjective. So they're going against the group. And second, if the player influences the women to go over there and do what they want to do, let them. You know what I'm saying? That's for the traditional men. You got to make sure that your shit is immaculate, so that when the women do go there, they see the type of man they lose out on. So this is why I agree that that men need to stay traditional and and stand in business on tradition as a group, so that when another man comes against your group or a woman makes a faulty decision, she fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And now she sees the consequences of not following traditional masculinity. But if you men step away from traditionalism, following women or what other men tell you to do, that's not even part of your group, or agree to your ideology of traditional masculinity, you know, you're just going along with them, with that one person. All right, so let's go back to what Jeff Brown and them were saying. Nope. Facts. No, it's not. Yep. Because let me tell you something. That leader is gonna lead because you're happy. And a woman just could be happy with bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And that leader is acquiescing to that woman. And guess what's going to end up happening? That woman's going to end up not being attracted to that guy because he's doing everything based upon her happiness and not based upon what needs to be done in that relationship, according to that man. Really? Yo, Carmen, your daddy was a simp. No, your daddy was a simp. I'm telling you what your daddy was. He was a simp. I would like to see what the relationship dynamic was between his wife and him. Your daddy was a simp. And that's the other problem. A lot of women are being raised by simps for daddies. Nope. And this is why I don't agree with women being in the workforce. This is why I don't agree with women being in the military, because you cannot man you can lead well, you cannot lead a woman the same way you lead a man. And when I say that, I mean is uh for a man, you could tell him shut the fuck up and keep it moving. Shut the fuck up and give me 10 push-ups. Motherfucker, you being too motherfucking fat, you better drop to 50 pounds. Hit these weights, hit that block, motherfucker, you fat motherfucker. You can't do that with a female. It's gonna break her feelings. When you break a man's feelings, it toughens him. When you break a woman's feelings, it breaks her. You know what I'm saying? So, and one of the ways that women bait men is to get y'all out of formation, is to tell y'all followers. Yeah, men follow other men. There's alphas and there's betas. There's hierarchy amongst men. The person that a man is not supposed to be following is the woman. And that's how they get a lot tricked a lot of you dudes in this leadership role shit. And then they trick you out in the leadership part of it, where it's just a title. You're more of a slave than a leader. So all right, so I'm gonna step away from that. I want to go into something else. You can't even find. All right, let's go here. Traditional Gender roles. Men earn money. Traditional husband and wife roles are usually split between the male breadwinner and the female housewife. This originally came from agriculture and influences where muscle and strength were needed to work the tools. If we look at research concerning the origin of traditional gender roles, beliefs are now shifting as work tools are no longer needed muscle strength. Yes, they do. The women cook at home. Let me go into this. Yes, they do. Men who do construction, their muscle and their bodies are needed for construction to bang that hammer. Men are still needed to lift heavy stuff, carry boxes. When men are driving behind that truck, do you know how many calories you can burn pushing a motherfucking rig? So it still requires muscles, man. Women cook at home. Traditional gender roles in marriage usually mean that the women do the cooking, cleaning, and food shopping. They are assumed to be naturally drawn towards cooking, better suited for this responsibility. Well, if you go on hunter-gatherer cultures, that's what they did do. The gender roles are based on traditional notion that women are more proficient at most matters related to taking care of the household. Anciently, men still dominate the chef profession in the food industry. That is kind of true. I think you know something. That's a good point. Chef profession in the food industry. Woo. So I wonder if men could do both the roles without the women. And I think in a relationship, monogamous relationship, right? Because a man can do a cooking and cleaning of his own house himself. He can do that independently. Remember the three P's of manhood: provision and protection. He could go out there, kill an ox, bring it back home, cook it himself, and build his own thing. Right? I think men gave women a value inside the home because now we're in a relationship now, right? So the men gave the women a value for them to do, like do the household chores. So now the man can focus strictly on going out there and hunting and you know doing the heavy work. So this is interesting right here. Shivers men traditional relationships role include the men protecting the women. That can be anything from carrying things for her to open doors. You might also see men walking on the roadside to protect women from cars. The notion that men don't cry is based on the notion that men are chivalrous and stronger than women, both physically and mentally. Thus, they are seen as protectors and caretakers of women. Job selection. Non traditional gender roles are when women become engineers and men join the teaching profession, for instance. Sadly, women are still paid less than the men for the same jobs, though, as per this article on the gender pay gap by a Pew Research Center. Behavioral norms. Traditional relationship roles also include behaviors. So many families assume that men are more intelligent and push their sons into further future education. On the other hand, we learn that they should focus on finding a husband. Both male and female brains are plastic and can adjust and learn as much or as little as the individual chooses. Nature versus discipline. Traditional relationships rules state the women are the caring ones who show emotions. Women become primary nurturers at home because men are the tough ones who do the discipline. Clothing style is helpful to consider fashion when rendering. What are traditional gender roles? How many girls' baby clothes pink while boy clothes are blue? Even in the workplace, many assume that women wear skirts and men wear trousers. This is going through the gender roles and stuff of traditional masculinity, right? Of course, if you're a feminist, you don't want those roles because now when you're a housewife, it puts you in a subservient role to that man. And you have to follow that man's authority. So if you're a woman that want to do what you want to do, a traditional relationship is not for you. You see what I'm saying? And what the women have done, along with other men, is convince the men to step away from that role so they could do what they want to do. Instead of the men who are traditional already say, well, okay, cool, you could do what you want to do. You're just not gonna get access to a traditional relationship from me. See what I'm saying? And you know, um some I can agree that a woman should go to the gym and work out and play golf. just to keep them healthy, healthy body, healthy mind, healthy spirit. You know what I'm saying? You know, they shouldn't be doing too much of football, but they at least could do something like, you know, go to the gym, you know, uh, even learn how to fight or go to the gun range. I think they should be able to do that too. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that the men have to be still doing their part of their roles too. The thing is, if you have the men doing what they're supposed to do, the women wouldn't have to do those things. And when black women like to make the case that, well, we had no choice but to be masculine, no, you had a choice. You had a choice to be that. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why the men were not the black men, and I'm gonna showcase something like that, and I'm gonna make a another video showcasing why black men were not able to fulfill those traditional roles. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do a thing on that tomorrow, right? So let me go. Um, examples. No, a gender identity could like so. When they talk about gender identity, I might do a thing on that too, right? Just something separate. Um, Gender identity. Um, at the core of a man's identity, he's to protect, provide, and procreate. That's the core of his identity as a man, because that's what he's built to do. But what gives his identity flexibility or life is what's his ideology? Is his ideology Islamic or is his ideology Christian? Is his ideology New Age? Is his ideology traditional? What's his belief system? That is what makes an identity have life, or man's identity have life. You know what I'm saying? But at the core of a man's identity, he's to protect, provide, and procreate. Right? By the way, this is Kiss Shotty Gaming Nation. Thank you for those of you who can view this a bit, view this in the future. Like, share, subscribe, donate, and support the channel.